glad to be talking with you again a little bit more about CBD here today. Today, I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about the, there's a lot of talk around CBD doesn't work for me, as far as that goes, or it may not be for me. I really want to hone in on that today with you and talk a little bit about why CBD may not be working for someone. And let's just start with, for me, I know, for me, there's an element of knowing like the reputable source. So let's talk a little bit about like the sourcing of where you're getting your CBD from and why that may be a component of one.
I think even before we go into that, I just want to say that I truly believe that CBD can help everyone. Now, is it going to work in the exact way you want it to for everyone? No, I don't think it will. But we all have an endocannabinoid system, ECS for short. So we all need to feed that ECS. So if anything, it's going to improve your health, in my opinion. Now, sorry, I just had to get that out there.
And digress a bit. Okay, I understand.
So now, in regard to CBD not working for someone, now you brought up a really good point. They might not have a reputable source. Unfortunately, in our industry, it's not regulated, so people are essentially lying and they're putting out a faulty product. So, in that case, in order to really make sure that you are getting the best product, or a product that has what the manufacturer is advertising, is one, you want to look for a reputable supplier, but there's lots of suppliers out there. So one way to really check is, one, ask a friend and see if they've used the product and they have good reviews, good things to say about it. But another way is to verify it and make sure that the company has testing, a certificate of analysis, just to back up and verify that your product indeed has what they are advertising.
Okay. So, I can agree to that. I know that we both know that this industry is somewhat like a wild, wild west at the moment, but it's needing regulation.
Yeah.
And it's something to where a bad product we put on there that doesn't necessarily live up to what the ingredients on the label say. Now,
it gives us bad reputation. It gives the industry a bad reputation.
Yeah. It's more about people over profit at that point, right? And that mindset and that concept. Now, in this as well too, something of how it may affect it. Is there any other things that come to mind that you would talk about when it affects someone, how it may be in their body?
Now, another thing to consider if CBD is not working for you is, how long have you been using it for? Did you just try it one time and then said, well, it doesn't work for me, and then just give up on it? Now, you have to allow yourself time for it to build up in your system. So I mentioned the ECS, or the endocannabinoid system, earlier, and look at the ECS like you have holes inside your body, right? That have been depleted for years because CBD or cannabinoids have not been in our food chain. So we haven't been supplementing with it, and it has not been in our diet. So these holes, they're empty. Okay? So since these holes are empty, we need to fill these holes up. And once we fill those holes up, which can take a little bit of time, once those holes are filled up, good things can start happening. So improved health, improved sleep.
Yeah, I know when I first started taking CBD, that was the one thing that I noticed, is that it made me a little bit more tired, maybe a little bit more drowsy, and coming to find out that it was more of the aspect that one of the things my body needed to do was repair itself a little bit. It has a positive effect on reducing inflammation. So that being the case, the first thing your body wants to do is sleep when it wants to repair itself. It's a recovery component. But after, I think it was like, anyway, 6, 7 to 10 days. It's been a while now, but it was like 7 to 10 days. I stopped taking it before I went to bed, because if I took it during the day, I would get a little bit sleepy. But when I took it before bed, it helped me sleep a little bit better. And then it kind of adjusted to where it was more of like I took it in the morning because it helped with just my energy levels, my clarity, my focus. at that point, I think I'd gotten past the sleepy phase, I guess we would say. So I think and that's something interesting to speak about. When it comes to how CBD actually may be working for somebody, I know you've described to me, but I'd like to hear it again more so on the aspect of the phases that somebody would go to when there's with CBD. And it's different for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I talk about CBD, I talk about there being 3 phases that we go through when we first start taking it. So phase 1 is sleep, right? And a lot of people automatically associate CBD and sleep. They start taking it, they get tired. Like, well, this made me tired. Well, the reason that you are tired is because your body's natural inclination it naturally wants to heal itself. And the way that it heals itself is through sleeping. Every time we sleep, our bodies are rebooting, they're repairing. So that's one of the first phases when you start taking CBD is sleep. So you'll sleep better because your body's healing itself. Another phase, the second phase that we go through is you get a little more clarity of thoughts and energy. Third phase, in the second and third phase, they can be interchangeable. The third phase is our bodies start healing, right? We are in the repair or repaired mode, and we're experiencing relief that we were seeking when we started taking CBD. Now, like I mentioned in the very beginning, I believe CBD will help everyone. So I'm not a proponent of starting to use CBD to treat something, aches, pains, anxiety, whatever it may be. I am a proponent of preventative maintenance, and that's where I think CBD fits into the picture.
Okay. So I think you spoke to something there. I think that a lot of times in society, the way things are now, we're looking for quick fixes. You know, it's having a realistic goal of like, no one can really necessarily take this and quote me on this exactly, but I refer to it almost as like vitamin CBD in the sense, right? Like you have vitamins you take every day, things you need to continue to feed your body so it operates efficiently, whether it be vitamin C for your immune system or vitamin D for your mood and things like that as well too. So I think this just plays, for me, it just plays another role in the daily things that I try to put in my body as far as the nutrients that I want to get inside of me. And I think that there's a lot of people out there, and I don't know if you could probably speak to this as well too, in that aspect, is that it's just about having a realistic expectation. The confusing part of this industry in some cases is CBD versus THC and how they play a role together and mutually exclusively. Now, with that being the case, I think a lot of times people think of CBD and they think of cannabis and they think of THC, which is going to be that immediate effect. Or like when they smoke CBD, it's going to be more of an immediate effect, right? Versus something that is more so building up and filling up those holes in your body as you described. So, I mean, there's lots of good information there.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, I love how you use vitamin CBD. I know it's maybe not, I'll say politically correct, but maybe not. It might be something the FDA frowns upon right now, but they are coming around to really see CBD for its true value. Mm-hmm. And you need CBD just like you need your essential vitamins and minerals.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I think that pretty much goes through some of the ins and outs of why CBD may not be working for somebody, and what setting some realistic expectations and goals for it as well too. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that you just walk into it with an open mind. Mm-hmm. It's not something that. I think that's something we didn't touch on, but you touched on with me in the past, is that, before you start taking CBD in the first place, you should talk with your doctor to make sure whatever medications you're on are not going to conflict with it, right? Mm-hmm. Just because of the fact that there's certain things out there that you shouldn't just mix with something, and the how they relate to each other inside of our bodies could be different. And to be honest with you, you mentioned like the FDA and things like that, and I think that their biggest thing, like anybody right now, is that it needs to be regulated. If we want to do this right, it's got to be regulated to make sure people are getting things that are actually authentic and real in that aspect. And I mean, I know we're both proponents of the fact that it needs to be regulated in that aspect. So, all right. Well, again, I thank you for going through all of this with me today. Oh, you got something else?
I'll add a couple things to this. My brain went on a tangent, and I got real excited about the vitamin CBD. So another reason that people might not be experiencing the benefits that they are expecting when taking CBD is they're not using it properly. They're not using the correct form of delivery, right? So maybe, just maybe, they are taking a topical, right, to help with anxiety, right? Or maybe they are taking a capsule, a CBD capsule, and they're using it for their arthritic joints, but they potentially have liver issues, right? So if you're taking a capsule and you have liver issues, your liver needs to process the CBD. So if the liver is processing the CBD, but you have liver issues, you're not going to be able to get the full effects of the CBD. So the form of delivery plays a huge role with the goal you're trying to accomplish. So for example, a good pair, so a form of delivery that's going to be relevant is if you are suffering with anxiety. So like I mentioned earlier, if you are the quickest form of delivery is going to be inhalation, so vaping, smoking, and when you're anxious, you want to get rid of that immediately. So inhaling it, smoking it, it's going to be the quickest way. The next best way would be a tincture, sublingually.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of little insights and nuances to every individual, especially what you're looking for. And that's why it's so important to make sure that when you're doing this, that you talk with, the person you're talking to about it and where you're getting it from, that they're knowledgeable, that give you some of this information or point you in the right direction. And even again, as you mentioned, consulting your doctor, that's very crucial to making sure that you can navigate this, especially now. In the future, we hope that it's more streamlined, easy to understand. People can essentially get what specific is for them and what they've got going on in their life. There's things out there now, but it's always an evolution and a work in progress.
Yeah, for years to come, it's going to constantly evolve. We're going to learn more and more. We're going to have different forms of delivery. We're going to